make use of the university websites. They probably will have a page dedicated to the open day. In Queen's in particular, we have a plan your day page.
Yeah.
This is what I used when I was coming to the open days because I was quite nervous, to be honest. I didn't really know what to expect.
Is it true that people only go to open days to get freebies?
I do love a freebie.
Yeah.
Free pen, free tote bag.
Yeah, if you need
yeah.
pens to last you all of your uni career, you
Go to open days. Yeah.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Queen's University Belfast Life at the Lanyon podcast. For those that don't know, the Lanyon building is based right in the heart of the campus here at Queen's, and it's one of the most beautiful landmark buildings across Belfast. This podcast is not just about the Lanyon building, it's about the wider student life, and you're going to get a real insight into what it's like to be a student here at Queen's. My name is Raymond Miller and I'm the undergraduate recruitment officer here at the university. And today's podcast is all about making the most of open days. I'm joined here by two lovely guests. We've got Isabella and we've got Zoe. And believe it or not, you can vouch for this. This is our second time having to do this. We got through some part of the podcast yesterday and we realised that the video wasn't turned on. So we're back again today to do it all
Back again. Take two.
Yeah,
Round
take
two.
two.
Yeah.
So this should be really, really good now.
Yeah.
We've got
Yeah.
two practice at it. Guys, do you want to just introduce yourselves to the viewers and the listeners?
Yes, I'm Isabella. I studied international business with Mandarin at Queen's. I graduated last year and now I am graduate student recruitment assistant.
And I'm Zoe. I study French and Spanish at Queen's. I'm from Lisburn. And yeah, just really excited to talk to you guys and let you know a bit about what it's like to study here.
Thank you both very much. So what is an open day? We're here to get our viewers and listeners to get the most out of their open days. An open day, in essence, is kind of your opportunity to find out more about a university. The university will open its doors and you can come and experience chatting to students. You can chat to academics. You can do some fun activities. You can hear from the support services. So we're going to discuss all those things in a bit more detail. Before we do that, we have to prepare for these open days. So obviously you register online for an open day that you want to go to. Did you guys register for many open days, or Isabella, you're nodding? How many did you?
Yeah, so Queen's Open Day, also a few others in Northern Ireland and one across the water in GB as well.
What about yourself? Zoe?
Yeah, so I was supposed to go to Queen's and Ulster, but I actually couldn't go to the Ulster one, so I ended up just going to Queen's.
Excellent, and that worked out well for us.
It did work
That
out
was
well,
good.
yeah.
As I say, there is multiple kind of events and open days that you can sign up for, and you can choose to go to as many or as few as you want. In terms of preparing for them, on an open day, you need to find out what happens. What's your best way of finding out what's happening on the open day?
Make use of the university websites. They probably will have a page dedicated to the open day. In Queen's in particular, we have a plan your day page.
Yeah.
This is what I used when I was coming to the open days because I was quite nervous, to be honest. I didn't really know what to expect. So the plan your day page was essentially a schedule and it had all of the subject talks that were taking place, taster lectures and sessions, the kind of activities, if any tours were happening. And it had a bit of a campus map there as well. So it was good to get an idea for it before actually coming onto campus.
Yeah.
And then when I arrived in the day, there was little leaflets as well with the same kind of information. So
Yeah, we painstakingly do those leaflets so that everybody has one and know what to do. We get scenarios where people rock up on the day and they're like, I just seen that this was happening and I went
Yeah.
in. So it's good to have all that information beforehand.
Yeah.
So planning is key, is what you're saying.
100%, yeah.
Zoe, would you say that you kind of already knew what you wanted to study before going to the open day? Or were you very much open-minded? Or what was your thought process going to it and preparing for it?
Yeah, I was pretty open-minded. I was pretty much stuck between the languages and law kind of areas. They ended up being my 5 choices, roughly combinations of all of them. And then I ended up doing French and Spanish. So yeah, I didn't know. So I planned to go to a bit of both. I went to law taster sessions, languages, went to both stands, spoke to people, got lectures, emails from both. Didn't do a campus tour, which I really regret actually. So you should do that. But I was pretty open-minded. You definitely don't need to know what you want to do. If you do, it's great. You can really, really target things, but it's good to just take it all in and speak to as many people as you can.
Yeah.
And you were able to plan for that because of all the information that was on the website. And that's good.
Absolutely.
Who do you go to these open days with? Did you guys go? Whenever I was going to an open day many years ago, I confess, I went with a couple of mates.
Yeah.
Do people do that, or do they go with parents, guardians? What was your guys' experience of that?
I think it varies. I went with my dad.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know why. It was always my dad went to those things, like me and my siblings. But yeah, I really
You
appreciated
trusted
having.
his
I did,
advice,
did
yeah.
trust his advice. I always do. Yeah, I liked having a parent there. I thought it was nice. I did run into friends when I was there from school, so it was a wee bit of a mixture. But there's definitely benefits to both. Obviously when you're with friends, that's who you're going to be spending your time at uni with. So you can get maybe more of a sense like the social aspect, running around together. But I think it's great just to bring someone, definitely, another set of ears, because there's a lot of information, and just definitely recommend bringing someone, but parents or friends would be good. But I really thought it was helpful to bring my dad. He gave me a lot of useful advice.
Yeah, I was the same. I came with my parents as well. I also came with friends to one of them, and actually my friends and I, using the Plan Your Day page, we did break off and go to the different talks and sessions, but we did essentially meet up to make the most of the actual day with the fun activities that were happening as well, which is good. With parents, I brought my parents along because they were a bit unsure of the kind of courses that I was interested in, so I really wanted them to get a feel to convince them basically, to get a feel for the university and the actual course, and it really helped because they were convinced at the end of the day.
And that is important. Like, I'm saying that as a joke, but it's important that the people that you trust with those decisions are on board with it as well. You don't want to choose something and they're like, no, I don't really want you to do that. If everyone's going in the same direction, then that's really helpful for you and for them. That's good. So that's kind of how we would prepare. I want to move on now. Whenever you get there on the open day, the whole purpose is to find out everything, but I suppose a key thing that everyone does is find out about course information or subject information. How did you guys find out about the course you're interested in? So you had a few different ones you said you wanted to go to. So how did you decide, or what did you do?
Yeah, so using all the kind of information that was sent beforehand, I looked at all the different talks and things that were on. There's usually a mixture of things, like kind of talks from lecturers, which are, maybe a wee bit more formal, and then there are kind of little taster sessions. So I remember I went to a law one. I don't remember exactly the scenario they gave us, but we were in teams. We had a wee scenario to work through. Law lecturers came around, and then we were able to chat to them. Languages had a year abroad taster session. So definitely talks, but then also pretty much every subject or subject area will have a stand. Student information areas, I think they're called, something like that. And you can go and talk to students and staff, ask them any questions. And then obviously there are leaflets and things, loads of information you can take away with you. You can take emails if you want to follow up with people. So yeah, just talk to everyone. You will definitely be able to find out what you need to know about all the different courses.
Yeah, definitely. And each session is going to be different as well. So each talk is designed for that course and depends on who the lecturer is. Maybe there might be a bit of time for a Q&A at the end. If you can, definitely have a chat to them. Or if they have a couple of minutes, if you're maybe a bit nervous to ask your question in front of other people, do have a chat to them, because the information that's going to be there in the talk can be quite overwhelming, and sometimes there's something that they just maybe didn't mention, you were unsure of, so definitely have a chat to them. And the subject stands with the students as well, so you've done it as well.
I've worked on those now, which is funny. But honestly, because I feel like when you're going to the open day, it's scary and you're like, I don't want to talk to them, but when you're working on it, you're like, no, please come and talk to us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're honestly so approachable, I promise.
What's interesting point you made there, Isabella, if you're unsure about something, you don't particularly understand what maybe a lecturer or student has said. I know at Queen's sometimes we have that many acronyms for things. That an academic will say something that they assume everybody understands, or I'll say something that I assume everyone understands. If you don't understand it, just say, here, what does that mean? That's a really important thing to do. So you're coming away from those subject talks or those stands, and you're having a full idea of what you really want to do. Would you kind of agree with that? Did you have to do that at any stage?
Yeah, so just as you mentioned about the acronyms and stuff, so I was interested in international business, but it falls under the management school. And when I came on the day, there was a stand for the management school, so I was looking around a little bit before I found it, and then I realised actually how much goes on in just one school in Queen's. So it's good to read up on that beforehand as well. But I did have a look around other subject stands just to get the most information I could.
Did your mind get changed? While you were there, were you going in thinking, I really want to know about this, but actually you found out something else, and did that maybe give you allow you to have a more informed choice at the end of the day?
Yeah, that did happen for me, because I think for my 5 UCAS choices I had law with French, law with Spanish, and I kind of just put in French and Spanish as a wee filler. I was like, I don't think I want to do that, pretty set on the law thing. But actually open days were quite a big part of me sort of changing my mind, to be honest. Went to some really great talks by lecturers who I've now had, which is kind of funny.
That's cool.
You kind of rock up on the first day, you're like, oh, I know you. you convinced me to be here. But yeah, no, it definitely opened up my mind to kind of, obviously like not, law at Queen's is great. It didn't push me away from law. It just pushed me towards languages and made me think of it more as like a, oh, this actually looks really interesting. Maybe I want to do this, and then I followed it up.
That's important, because there'll be people out there watching this and they'll think like, I know I definitely want to do this. But I suppose the question from me to those people would be, well, why?
Yeah.
And you answered that why while you were at the open day, because you had seen a wee taster lecture and it really informed your choice. So if you're out there and you're thinking you really want to do something, go to an open day. That will confirm it for you, or it will help you find a different path.
Yeah.
And it's so important to keep your options open at the early stages of your decision making. And it's good to do that. So subject information, really, really important. And you do that through talks and through information stands.
Yeah.
There's a load of support services that we offer at the university. And what I mean by support services, well, I'll let you guys explain. What are the kind of support services that the university have that you found out about at an open day?
For me, fees and funding was one. Even though I'm from Northern Ireland, it still was important to get to know the kind of fees that the course that I was interested in were looking, because there was a placement involved in the courses that I was interested in. So I wanted to get a little bit more clarity about that. But also there are some other different like centres in Queen's, such as the Language Centre. So they were there that day, and me being interested in languages, I wanted to find out more. And actually the person who was at the stand that day ended up being my Mandarin teacher when I came to Queen's. So there you go.
Both of you had interactions academically. Yeah. Teaching, that's brilliant. Other support services that the university have, I suppose Queen's Sport, which facilitates anybody that wants to play sport at a really high level, or if you just want to get involved in physical activity. There's loads of things that they do: gym, weights area, swimming pool, team sports, loads of stuff. The admissions and access service is a really important one. You guys maybe kind of knew what grades you needed and the qualifications you needed whenever you went to the open day, but if you're still a wee bit unsure about the qualifications, go to the admissions and access service team and they will spell out exactly what you need to get and whether or not the subject areas that you're doing right now are applicable for the course. What other ones do we have? Do you go to any other support services?
Clubs and societies?
Yeah, clubs and societies. I think we have 220.
Yes, we do.
I remembered. Yeah, we have 220 clubs and societies at Queen's. There really is something for everybody. So that was really interesting, just, to get a wee flavour of what there was. Everything from K-pop to extreme climbing to, all the rest of it. I remember...
We had a guy, sorry to interrupt, we had a guy, I think it's going to be one of our future podcasts after this one, but he started the Rubber Duck Appreciation Society.
Oh my goodness, I saw that. I signed up.
Yeah. Have you done it? It sounds amazing. Have you done it?
I was like, no, because I remember they had one workshop. It was like rubber duck painting. And I was like, I want to be there. And I actually couldn't. It was annoyingly, but see next activity. Like, I'm there. That's great crack.
He was telling us they're doing an archery one soon where they're like, shooting rubber ducks in the archery court.
But I thought you meant like shooting, like as in like shooting rubber ducks. Like no, don't do that. Yeah. So
anyway, so clubs and societies.
Yes, a lot of really interesting and very random clubs and societies. Disability and wellbeing services as well. Queen's have really, really great services. I've used both of them in the past, disability and wellbeing, and they're fantastic. And yeah, I also just kind of did the kind of basics, spoke to fees and funding, access and admin. When you're going through the kind of applying to uni process, there's a lot of admin and that team are great. So yeah, there are a lot of different support services that'll all be on display on open days and you can chat to them.
Yeah.
And other ones that'll definitely be there. I mean, I don't want to miss anybody out. Hopefully I don't. But careers, employability and skills, they're another brilliant service. So if you come and study with us at Queen's, they will help you through the whole process of finding a career, finding work placements. They offer global opportunities where you can go to in the past, students have gone to Hong Kong or Toronto or America for different programs.
I only went to Jordan.
Jordan, there you go. They literally go all over the world. So they help you focus your career, but they also offer those global opportunities. Other ones, accommodation's a big one.
Yeah,
a lot of people will go to the accommodation stand and find out about where you're going to be living and the prices of those. So yes, you're going to that open day for subject information and that is key. But don't forget about all those support services that underpin university life. That's really, really important to think about as well. And we touched on it as well. Fun. Open days are good crack.
Yeah, they are.
Isabella and I are in a team now that organise these. We, at our upcoming one, we're going to have this lovely s'more bar. We are going to have like popcorn machines. We'll have lawn games and mini golf out on our lovely quad. So there is lots of fun things to do. Did you guys do any of those? Did you have any fun stuff you did? In
Yeah,
opening?
I remember the lawn games.
Yeah.
They were good crack. I remember there was some sort of scavenger hunt as well.
Yeah.
And finding little envelopes hidden around the campus, and then there were little prizes and things to win. Yeah, definitely got some nice snacks. I think there were s'mores at mine a couple of years ago now. But yeah, no, there's just a great buzz about the place. You know, there's music and, you know, there's a lot of different things on.
On the last one, we had like bunting all around the Lanyon building.
Yeah.
And
It
that
was
actually
beautiful.
drew people in just from the street. They were like, what is going on here? This looks brilliant. So really fun carnival atmosphere. Yeah, it's good. And there's a competition we run every year. We always run a competition to allow one lucky prospective student to win a year's free accommodation. So by going to an open day, just registering for it, you could become a Queen student and get free accommodation for a year. So that's a plus point as well. Brilliant. Okay, so how do you prepare? Plan. Really important. Choose someone you trust to go with. When you're there, subject information, support services, and have a bit of fun. In terms of what to do afterwards, what do you kind of have to do once you follow up an open day? Is there much that you need to do after an open day?
Yeah, I think there definitely is actually. So now that you have your information, do further research on exactly what you want to do based off of that information you've got. So you've asked the questions, you've made the notes, you've read up on the university beforehand. Now it's time to make those decisions. So take all of the information that you can and, you know, make a note of those key points and follow up with staff as well. Like that is one of the main things. Our team in particular, student recruitment, we're always there to help like everybody out with their questions. When I did my open day, I then got in contact with some of the staff from international business to find out more and get an even different perspective as well on some of the more sort of like in-depth queries that came up after more a better look.
Yeah, once you kind of done your research. Yeah, like I was sort of thinking there as you were talking, sometimes I go away from things like that and I have like loads of questions. Like I've asked questions and I go, I should ask that.
Yeah.
So if you have that feeling, don't be afraid to get back in contact with us and find out all the information you need. And as you say, do your research. Go to other open days to kind of compare. So you were sold from day one.
Yeah, I was there. I was like, Queen's is the place for me.
Yeah.
You know,
But
here I
it
am.
is really good to go to other open days too because you'll get a real feel of what the campus is like whenever you do that. So yeah, get in touch. Our email address is studentrecruitment@qub.ac.uk. So we're happy to take any queries that people have. Okay. On this podcast, we do a little myth buster feature. So I'm going to give you a couple of myths that maybe people think about open days and you can tell us what you think. So firstly, I've kind of answered this one to be honest. Is it true that open days are all the same? What do you think?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you're out of this one.
Yeah.
The one you went to was the same because it's the only one,
I would say a lot of them have a similar layout. They're there for the same reason, to give you information for you to get the most out of that day. But different universities will have different setups. They'll have different things happening on that day. Of course, there's going to be different courses as well. Queen's in particular, as you mentioned, there's a lot of fun things that go on. And that differed from some of the other open days that I went to. There was a popcorn stand when I went to, like candy floss and stuff. So it is fun. You know, we had Queen's when I was a student, I was in Queen's Radio. We did play music a couple of times there. So that's like another way to find out about clubs and societies as well. So yeah, there is going to be different things at different universities. And because the campus differs so much as well, definitely campus tours and things are definitely worth seeing to see what kind of facilities.
I think, that's another point probably just to mention. There are tours that go on open days as well. So there are campus tours where you can see around kind of the wider campus and you'll get to see different facilities. There's accommodation tours where you can go down and actually see the accommodation. You can get tours of the library, tours of the physical education centre. So the main kind of facilities that we have across the campus, you can get tours to go and see around those, which is another good part that you want to go and do.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, another myth for you here. You can definitely answer this one, Zoe. Is it true that people only go to open days to get freebies?
I do love a freebie.
Yeah.
Free pen, free tote bag.
Yeah, if you need pens to last you all of your uni career, you
go to open days.
And
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, people love freebies, but no, I really don't think that is the reason. I mean, people do go in with different intentions. You know, some people are very targeted. Some people, like me, they're a wee bit more open-minded. Some people just want to get a feel for the place. But I think that's what most people go for overall. You know, they just want to get a feel for the atmosphere. You know, walk around the campus, take it all in. Freebies are a great added bonus, but there's just so much on open days. I really think most people just go to see if it'll be a good fit for them.
Isabella, you're in a kind of unique position where you recently went to an open day. You now work for our team, and you helped organise the last open day that we ran. What's that like? How did your perception of what an open day is change because you now work in a team that organises them?
I've definitely learned a lot more. So yes, I went as a prospective student, and it was really helpful in making my decision. I worked at them as a student at the subject stands, and I actually learned more hearing other people's questions, because you can always go back and double check things for future reference. But definitely the amount of organisation that actually goes into this, because we do want prospective students to get the most out of the day, to get the most information. It can be challenging, but it's so worth it because it's fun for us as well. Actually, it is a good day.
I know, and it's such an important event for the university.
100%.
So that our students can see what we're like. And it's just, it's a great atmosphere. So definitely, it's interesting that you've had that viewpoint from both sides of it.
I saw the importance of it enhance as I went through from prospective, current, and now staff.
That was brilliant. Thank you for that, guys. I'm going to have a couple of kind of final thoughts. Do you have any sort of lasting memories from open days whenever you went to those? As I say that, I kind of have one key one in mind. 2 open days ago, I was about to go and deliver a talk, and my phone was like buzzing in my pocket. I was like, what's going on here? Lifted out my phone. I had like 10 missed calls from my wife. Answered the phone, everything okay. I should mention, I've kind of ruined the story here. She was like 8.5 months pregnant. So I kind of got what was happening, but she was like, I think we're having a baby here. You need to get home. And I was like, I'm about to do a talk. So obviously I left straight away and somebody covered it. But that is a big lasting memory for me. But I mean, obviously there's loads of people you interact with whenever you're at an open day. I remember emailing a student back and forth because they were a wee bit apprehensive about going to the open day. And whenever they arrived to register on the day, they were like, "Are you Raymond?" And I was like, "Yes, are you?" And then we had that exchange, and I was able to show them around the campus a bit more. So having those bespoke moments with students is really, really, encouraging to see that they love the campus and they love the university. That kind of is what we do it for. Have you guys had sort of similar experiences, or what's your lasting memory?
Yeah, sort of. I have a couple of memories. So one from being a staff member, similar to yours. Actually, when I was a student, I did do a couple of video projects and stuff for Queen's, and a few people came up to me and said, "Do I recognise you from somewhere? Like, have you been at so-and-so event?" And I was like, "Actually, no, apologies." And they're like, "I definitely recognise you." And I was like, "Have you been on our website? Have you looked at these kinds of videos?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay,
that's me."
My face was probably there. And they're like, "Actually, yes, that's where you're from." So it is nice when people recognize you and then you see them later on campus, and they probably feel like it's a bit more of a personal touch, I guess, from the open days. But these are gonna laugh at me for this. When I actually came as a prospective student to Queen's, I felt like I was in a movie.
I think that's cute. It's not.
Why were you in a movie, Isabella? Talk to me.
So I arrived in front of the Lanyon building, and I just thought it was sunny. It was a sunny day. It was just gorgeous. I thought, right, this looks like just an incredible movie set.
Okay, I'm sorry for being dismissive there. That is fair. The first time you see that Lanyon building, it is honestly incredible.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Especially in the sun.
After COVID happened and we came back working on campus for the first time, I honestly remember stepping in and being like, "Whoa, Queen's is class." Honestly, it is just so amazing to see it. So I get why you felt like that, like a dream.
Yeah.
Love it. Let's clip that. We're gonna use that for a clip.
I felt like I was in a movie. Similar. I just remembered just the beauty of the campus, Lanyon building, also the Maclay.
Definitely.
I remember going to see the Maclay library, which is like the main. We have a couple libraries at Queen's, but that's the main big one, and it is huge.
Yeah.
It's like 5 floors. I don't know what the capacity is, but it's massive. And I remember my school library was like one room, like a little pokey room with these bookshelves. I remember being in the Maclay library, just beautiful, bright, airy books for days, you know, and just being like, this is amazing, this is so cool. Like, I feel like I'm in uni, you know, I feel so grown up.
Yeah.
And then also, I had a similar experience actually running into someone. I do campus tours. I'd done one outside of an open day for a student, and then I ran into that student at an open day that I was working at, and I was like, oh, you know, how's it going? Like, have you made up your mind what you're applying for? And we had a wee chat, and it was lovely. And, you know, her dad and all remembered me because he'd been on the tour, and yeah, so
That's so nice.
That's so
It's
nice.
yeah,
those,
it was
it's
really
those,
nice. It was lovely. Made
it's
my
those
day.
personal
you know?
interactions
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like really make the day. Guys, thank you so much. That's been really, really helpful. Hopefully it's been helpful for everyone watching and listening here. If you've any questions, well, I suppose I'll summarize before I close up. Plan your day. That's really, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plan the talks that you want to go to. Plan the support staff that you want to go see and the fun things that you want to do. But also plan a wee bit of time to just roam around the campus. That's a really important thing to do as well, because you'll maybe see something that you hadn't originally thought you were going to see. Whenever you get there, tick everything off your list, do all the things you want to do, and make sure you're coming away having asked lots of questions so you've got all the answers that you need. But if you don't get all the answers that you need, we're happy to answer any questions that you have after the actual open day. Thank you very much again, girls, for coming along today. And thank you all for listening. If you do have any queries, email studentrecruitment@qub.ac.uk and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. And hopefully see you all on the next Life at the Lanyon podcast. Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Thank you.